Hey guys, so glad you decided to join me for this 30-day movement challenge. I want to help jumpstart your active lifestyle by first helping you move better. The goal is to build a stronger, more resilient, and adaptive body. And if that sounds good, then this is the challenge for you. I'm confident by participating in this program, you will definitely feel a lot more connected with your body. You'll feel more confident about your movements, feel like you have better posture and more body awareness, and also a reduction in fatigue and discomfort in your body. So the first couple of weeks, what we're going to focus on is actually minimizing the effects of a sedentary lifestyle. You know, the sitting and the device staring, you know what I'm talking about. Now that is a huge cause for all the headaches, the neck aches, the lower back pains, and the list goes on and on. So what we're going to be focusing on is to minimize resistance in the body, improve our mobility and movements, and also address some of the weak links that might be present in the body. So 3 things I want you to remember at all times throughout this program. Number 1, be open. Number 2, be mindful. And 3, be playful. All right, let's get started. Coming onto our mat, we're going to start in a child's pose position. So sit your hips back towards your heels, extend your arms, press your palms into the mat, resting the belly on top of the thighs and the forehead on top of the mat. Gently breathe into your belly and your chest, feeling the lower back expand, just to center ourselves here. Before we come to a tabletop position, knees below our hips, wrists below our shoulders, we're going to go into some cat-cows now, dropping the belly, extending the hips back. Lift your chest, setting it forward as you lift your gaze. As you exhale, tuck it in, round the upper back, look between the knees. Again, inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the upper back. Inhale, belly down, hips back, stick your butt out and lift your gaze at the same time. Exhale, round the upper back, hollowing that chest, pressing into the palms. We're going to continue this movement back and forth just for a few more rounds, syncing our movement to our breath, trying to feel the spine extend, front of the body stretch, and as you exhale, the back of the body stretches, coming into a flexion. Inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, reverse and tuck. Look between the knees. Again, one breath, one movement. Syncing it all together. Trying to create that flow state. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round the upper back, tuck the hips in, really hollowing out the chest, coming back to neutral position. Now we're going to go side to side tilt. So what I'm doing here is actually looking over my shoulders, trying to take a sneak peek towards my buttock, and at the same time I'm tilting my hips to the side. So I'm tilting to the side that I want to look at, creating a little bit of a contraction on that side, and the opposite side will be stretching out. So just go back and forth, side to side, taking a peek over the shoulder, feeling the side body stretch. Good. Again, you can sync your breath to this movement. Exhale to take a peek to look. And now we're going to go full range, combining the 2 movements we did before. Just really try and use this opportunity to articulate your spine as many directions as possible, coming into that flexion and extension in the spine at the same time going side to side. So you feel like your whole upper body is going into like this wave-like motion, round and round. And just do whatever feels good to you and is available to you right now. Now we're going to move into bird dog, extending your arms and leg opposite sides and bringing back down. Left arm, right leg next. Extend, think length, extending the fingertips and the heels in opposite directions rather than lifting high up. Good. Inhale to extend. Exhale to bring it back down. And while you're doing this, make sure you keep your hips level, as stable as possible. Engage your core. The knee that's on the mat, make sure you press it into the mat. Same thing with the arm on the opposite side. Nice and slow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it back down. Keep going. Okay, next we're gonna move into bird dog, but we're gonna extend it out to the side, about 15 degrees off center, starting with the right arm and the left leg, just a little bit off to the side. And with each rep on each side, we're gonna start increasing the degree that we're going out. So now about 30 degrees out. Again, extending out to the sides, just creating a little bit more stability in the core by actually making our limbs go further out. So now we're gonna gradually work towards a 90-degree angle. As you can see, I'm really trying to keep my hips and my shoulders stable, engaging my core. And if you can, this is all the way out to the side, holding it for a second and bringing it back in. And the opposite side, left arm, right leg. You might feel a little bit of a cramping sensation, but that's okay. And coming back to bird dog, and now we're going to do small rotations. So with the right arm and the left leg, we're just going to draw circles with the heel and the hand at the same time. Again, trying to create as much stability as we can in the core, the center of the body. And this will make it very challenging because we're creating movements that are dynamically changing, not just lifting up and down. So make circles, clockwise and then anti-clockwise. Right. So it gets quite confusing syncing the feet and the arms at the same time, but it's also really good training because now you're working on coordination. Just a few more reps here. And bringing palms down. Okay, back into tabletop position. We're going to finish off with some knee to elbow taps. So drawing the elbow and the knee touching and extending back out to a bird dog position. Again, bring the right elbow to touch the left knee, extend. Exhale to crunch, inhale to extend. Same thing when you're extending out, make sure you feel like you're reaching the fingertips forward and extending the heels back. Good, just a few more here. Exhale to crunch, inhale to extend. Exhale to crunch, inhale to extend. Very good. Last one. And bringing the palm down and the knee down. Switching sides. Left arm, right leg now. Go. Extend, knee tap. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. So you might find like you're going to lose balance here. So the key is to keep the pace of the extension and the crunching in a consistent manner so that you don't lose your balance. Okay. And try not to rush it. A lot of times when you rush it, that's when you lose your balance. Almost done here. Extend, reach, and bring the arms down. Good. And coming off, shaking those wrists out, sitting onto the heels. We're just going to roll our wrists out. First forming our hands into a fist, and then just articulating the wrists in a clockwise and anti-clockwise manner. Try to keep it real slow and feel the articulation in the joints. This is to promote more synovial fluid to get into the wrists area. Next, we're going to move the mat out of the way because we're going to come into a combination of movement between static bear crawls and also a gentle back bend. So you can move it to the side or you can find some floor space. We're going to come back into a tabletop position. Spread the fingertips, press into the floor, and you're going to lift the knees off, coming into a static bear crawl position, drawing the navel into the spine, stabilizing the hips, pressing into the palms, making sure you're breathing, keeping nice and stable. Don't let the knees cave into each other. Just make sure you stay in this position as long as you can. We're holding in here just for a few more seconds. And setting the knees down. Sitting up, we're going to bring our palms behind our lower back. And we're going to try and bring our elbows as close to each other as possible, shifting the hips forward, engaging the thighs, stretching the belly and the chest, dropping back just a little bit, and coming back off. Now, if you have lower back problems, make sure you actually load the front of the hips and thighs instead of compressing the lower back. Yeah. Just one more, lifting the heart, sending the hips forward, dropping back a little bit more, and release. Good. Now we're coming back to our second round. Back to static bear crawls. Ready. Tabletop position, and knees come off. Hold, draw the navel into the spine. Really press into your arms through the shoulders, into the fingertips. And feel the muscles between the ribs engage as well. Keeping as stable as you can. And prevent the knees from knocking into each other. Holding this position just for a few more breaths. Make sure you breathe. And we're going to come down very, very shortly and relax. Good job. Okay, last round of drop backs. So palms behind the lower back. Really try to shift the hips forward, dropping the upper back behind. Again, not trying to compress the lower back. You want to load the front of the hips and the thighs as you extend the upper back towards the back. One last one. Exhale to drop. Inhale to come back forward. Alright, now we're going to move on to the actual bear crawl. So we're going to come back onto a tabletop position. And as we lift the knees off, we're going to traverse forward, lifting our left hand and right foot at the same time. Kind of like a march. Again, we're not going to stomp our hands or feet, focusing on really keeping the center of the body as level as possible. Nice small movements. Notice there's not much sound. I'm not actually, stomping in. And now we're going to move backwards, okay? So the same way that you went forward, now we're going to go back. Still opposite sides of the limbs, moving at the same time. So feel like your upper body's like hovering through the air. And take a rest. Good job. These bear crawls are quite taxing, so not to worry if this is your first time doing it. It is quite challenging. Make sure you roll the wrist out. We do put a lot of pressure on it, so we want to give it some love. Okay, get ready. We've got another round to go. So one thing you want to really focus on is the movement. A lot of people tend to make the mistake of extending the legs too far back, and you don't want to do that. Keeping the knees only just very close to each other. We're moving forward now, second round. Again, I'm lifting opposite sides of the limbs, coming forward, taking small steps, kind of like a little scuttle, right? And we're going to go backwards in just a bit. And slowly shift backwards. Again, feeling that stability as you lift opposite limbs to move backwards. Good. Don't hold your breath yet. Make sure you breathe. Nice, slow, with control. And well done. Take a rest. You've earned it. Roll the wrist out. And we're going to move on to our next segment very shortly, which is the squat routine. Coming back onto our mats. If this full resting squat position is not available to you right now, that's okay. Come into whichever version of a squat that you can manage, but eventually you want to work towards this version that I'm showing you. If you're facing a clock, your toes should be pointing at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, chest upright, arms being able to rest on top of your knees. Now we're going to first work on extending the left thigh back and out. So we're going to gently externally rotate the hip. Notice my hands on top of my inner knee. I'm allowing my left foot to come to the outer edges as I actively engage the thigh to roll out. My hands are just gently nudging towards the end of the movement, allowing me to come back and in, pushing it out just very gently. And on the next rep, we're going to hold in an extended position, feeling a deep stretch in an inner thigh. Breathe and release. Changing sides. Now onto the right thigh. So from this angle, you can see my knees going back and out, rolling onto the outer edges of that right foot. And the rest of my body is kind of being very strict, facing forward. I don't want too much rotation. Okay, a few more reps here. Again, same thing, gently nudge towards the end of the range of the movement. And next one, we're going to hold. Don't try to force your way into it. We're just trying to work at the current available end range and just give it a slight nudge. Okay, good job. Release. Now we're gonna bring that right hand onto the left ankle. We're gonna rotate our torso, revealing our chest and shoulder on the left side, and then reaching that arm up and then releasing it back down. Good. A few more reps here. So you're not just straight reaching that arm up, you're actually twisting the body, revealing the chest and the shoulders before extending the arm up. So it's a sequence of movement. Rotate, extend, and release. Inhale to rotate and extend and release. Inhale to rotate and lift up. Lift your gaze if possible. Working with the breath as always. And reach. Hold. Keep reaching, keeping the fingers active. And release. Changing sides now. So left arm on top of the right ankle. And rotate and reach. Rotate, lift the arm and reach. So really focusing on that twist before actually reaching the arm up. It's very essential here. Opening up that thoracic spine. So if this position is getting a little too intense or too much, you can always stand up and come back into the position when you're ready. If not, keep going. Reach, and we're going to hold on this rep. Breathe and release. Well done. Okay, next we're going to bring our thumbs in front of us, and then we're going to wrap the other hand on top of it with another thumbs up. Fold down, touch the forehead onto the thumb and release. So this is a lower back extension, forward fold in a squat position. Exhale to fold, forehead touch the thumb, and release. Extend, forward touch the thumb, and release. If you need to, you can actually lift your buttocks a little higher than what I'm showing you here, just because I've worked on these for quite a long time, so I have somewhat good mobility. And fold, hold. Breathe. And release. Reaching the hands behind you, planting them on the floor, and shifting your feet out so that it's kind of like in a crab position. And what we're going to do are windshield wipers now. So we're going to drop the knees towards our right side, rotating the hips, keeping the feet planted in its position, but just coming off to the edges of the foot, rolling side to side. So back to the right side, coming back to the center, and then turning over to the left side. So if your knees can't touch the ground when you're turning, it's okay, because the range of movement that you have right now might not allow you to do so, but as you work on it, it's only going to get better. Okay. Now, if you notice that I'm actually moving side to side and my butt is actually sliding off the mat, number one, the mat is quite slippery, but secondly, also it's because I'm actually forcing my knees to touch the ground, and in most cases I am able to do it, but today I think I'm a little bit tight, so I should actually ease off and work with the range that I actually have instead of just forcing to slam my knees into the mat. So, I'm not perfect too, so just work with what I have. And this is the whole part of being mindful when you're doing these movements, is that you want to work the range of movement and improve on it. So the next one we're going to come to is a static hold of that stretch. So I'll start with the right side. We want to form a 90 degree angle in the knees, and try and keep the weight distribution of our upper body on top of the hips as level as possible. Now I'm going to change sides. So if you notice, usually the thigh that's internally rotated, in this case, which is my right thigh, the hip might be slightly more elevated for some of you, but that's okay. Over time, it's going to get better. Okay, coming off of it, we're going to come off the mat once again, and this time we're going to use that position that we established earlier on and actually traverse, coming into a crab crawl. So same position as our starting position. This time we lift the buttocks off and alternate palms and foot stepping forward, coordinating the movement, opposite sides of the limbs, moving very slowly. Again, trying to find a glide as you're moving forward. Now we're going to go backwards. So backwards is usually a lot tougher. You might feel the triceps burning a little bit, but try to keep the weight distribution not just on the arms, but using the legs to support as well. This is quite hard because, you know, naturally we want to dump all the weight into the arms in this case, but that's the challenge right here. Take a rest. Okay, well done. We're going to do another set, so get ready. So your fingers can point towards the back or out to the sides, whichever you're comfortable with. This time I'm going to try it with the side, lifting the butt off, again shifting left foot, right hand forward, and the right foot, left hand forward. Always working on coordination. So you got to be really mindful when you're doing these movements. It's not about how many you can do or how fast you can go. It's really about the quality of the movement itself. Okay. And if you're doing it for the first time, once again, it's not going to look pretty. It's not going to look perfect. Even mine, the one I'm doing here, doesn't look that great, you know. But with practice, it's only going to get better. Okay, so coordinating the palm and the foot, opposite sides. Again, try to keep some weight towards the front and coming to a rest. Good job, well done. Taking a short break here as you've earned it. We will be finishing off our sequence here on the mat once again, and we're going to come down lying on our backs. And this is an interesting one that I've sort of just come up with, and it's basically a twist, and then we're going to roll onto our bellies and then come to a scorpion twist. As you'll see, we're going to start off with the right leg extending towards the left side, keeping it as straight as possible, extending through the heel. Arms come to a T position if possible. I didn't do it in this rep, but we should do that. And we're going to roll onto our bellies, using same with the left leg and going on to the extending to the right side. So you want to keep the shoulders as grounded as possible. And then I'm going to roll back onto your back, extending that left leg over to the right side, keeping the shoulders grounded, releasing, and then rolling on towards the right side. This time the left leg will reach back and around. So the foot is trying to reach that right hand. Okay, you feel a deep stretch in the hip flexor. Rolling back onto the mat. This time the right leg stretching over to the left side. And releasing, we're gonna twist over to the left side onto our bellies, and then the right leg will reach back and around just like a scorpion tail towards the left hand. So try to keep the shoulders grounded, you know. If it lifts a little bit, that's fine. Rolling back onto the mat, left leg towards the right side, feeling that lower back release all of the compression. And rolling to the right, arms out to a T. Really keep that left leg active, reaching that foot towards that right hand before releasing it. Alright, good job. Coming back onto your back. We're going to move into bridge work now. So we're going to bend our knees, planting the feet about fingertips distance away from the buttocks. So if you reach your hands forward, your fingertips should be able to touch your ankles. Now keeping the knees pointing forward, you're going to lift the buttocks, squeeze the buttocks, send the hips up towards the sky, and then releasing it slowly back down. Making sure the toes are pointing straight. Gradually lift the hips and the lower back, press into the shoulders, and then slowly lowering the upper back, lower back down, and then the buttocks last. So this is a very nice gentle movement where you're squeezing the buttocks and then lifting the lower back off the mat, and then slowly coming back down. Inhale to lift. Really send those hips as high as you can. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze the hamstrings, and also engage the inner thigh so your thighs don't actually open out. Gently lift, press the shoulders into the mat, gradually releasing, nice and slow and controlled. Raise it up, squeezing in the thigh and buttock before releasing it down nice and slow. So you want to create a bit of like that healing motion, peeling the buttocks, lower back, and then the upper back off, and then slowly replanting the upper back, mid, lower back, and then the buttocks down. Peak squeeze here, and then slowly lowering down. One more round. You're going to squeeze the buttocks, engage the inner thighs, lift the upper back, lower back, and then slowly releasing down. And we're done. Releasing the legs, close your eyes, allowing your body to fully relax. Just tune into your breath. And congratulations, you've completed your first movement session with me. I hope to see you in our next session. Take care. Have a good day.